back to Living the Dream in Canada. I'm your host, Keisha Johnson. And today, as I said, we're going to be talking about when life throws you a curveball. What do you do when you've made your absolute best effort and things still don't turn out the way that you anticipated or hoped for them to be? What's going on? So we've got to figure out, we got to figure out how do we handle those circumstances in life. So here we are. We're talking about curveballs today. We've been hit by a few this morning. And as I said in the Facebook feature, listen, we're going to be working on this live in studio today. Our special guest is Mr. Alvin Day, and he's connecting with us out of Florida, and he's absolutely the best person to talk to us today about curveballs and what to do with that in life, because he's written this really tremendous book. It's called If Caterpillars Can Fly, So Can I. And it's about how it's actually 7 universal laws for you to achieve and prosper in life. So when you're hit by a curveball and things don't go the way you plan, listen, it's not the end of the world. It will not be the end of the world, because there are ways for us to course correct. It's going to take some effort, but we're going to talk to Alvin Day, and he's going to give us a little bit of insight on how we can do that. Alvin, are you there online with us today?
I am, most definitely.
Oh, welcome. How is warm and balmy Florida?
It is warm and balmy, thank you.
We so envy you. This would be the perfect time to trade. I'm doing terrific. You are live on air on Living the Dream in Canada. So pleased to have you.
Awesome. Well, I'm delighted to be with you today.
Yes. So I was just telling our listeners what we're going to be talking today about is when life throws you a curveball, what do you do? I mean, do you give up? Do you press forward with what you were doing before? Do you need to make some changes? We're looking to you to give us some kind of direction out of this book that you've written, If Caterpillars Can Fly, So Can I, because it's all about transformation, and it's about the 7 universal laws to achieve and prosper in life. So we thought, who best could give us some help as how to productively overcome some of the curveballs that life throws us. So we're very pleased that you're available to be with us today.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So as I think about this idea of curveball and where it has come from, the question is, what is that? And as everyone listening, I'm sure, knows, it is from baseball.
Yes.
And when you're playing baseball, although I'm no expert at it, it is great to stand and wait for the ball to come, see it come in a straight line, and whack at it. Well, increasingly, life is shifting. Changes are happening, and the ball is not coming at us straight anymore. The truth is, even if it did not curve, it would be hard to deal with, because you can't just stand there in life. You can't just let things happen, because they'll slam right into you. So before we get to curving the ball, let's think about this.
Mm-hmm.
It is the nature of life to bombard you, to buffet you, to beat you up if you don't get ready for the balls that are coming at you. Every day you wake up, there's a challenge. You have to get up and go make some money. You have to meet some schedules. You have to deal with the traffic and so forth. And those are balls that you can anticipate. Every day they're there. Some people don't even get past that. Life is miserable because every day they're under pressure and stress and strain. And as if that were not bad enough, these days the balls, when you see them coming at you, they slip at the end, they go down at the end, and they go to the right or go to the left. So it is increasingly challenging to find the thing that we call success in society, because what we see coming at us sometimes shifts just before we connect with them the way we expect to.
Yes.
So I think it's a very appropriate topic, because I imagine that many of your listeners are dealing with challenges that are not predictable, and when they think they know what's going to happen, it changes at the end. Would you say that's true?
Absolutely. And I mean, these are people who are trying to live their dream. They want to be successful in life, and they've been working at it, so we know these challenges will come to well, that's what they are, challenges, right? To throw you off course. So you've got to, as you say, be ready for them. How do we prepare ourselves?
That's right. So there we are. We have a metaphor about a game. If you're going to win, you have to regard life as a game. If you think of life as a really serious thing where you have to get it right all the time, it's going to frustrate you and make you not enjoy the journey. But you have to see life as a game. What that suggests is that you have to be prepared to hit at the ball, to whack at the ball, and know that you're going to miss a great deal of the times. I understand that the star performers in the baseball game, in the game of baseball, who make millions of dollars, that their averages are somewhere in the vicinity of 300, 400 if they're really amazing. What that suggests is that they miss 60% of the times, 70% of the times, and yet they are extraordinarily successful. So a part of the success that we seek is the recognition that in order for you to do well in your life, you don't have to hit all the balls. Some of them are going to pass you by. Some of the times you're going to fail. Sometimes they're going to crash into your helmet. And so set our sights at a level of excellence where we know that it is okay to fail. And I think that already takes away some of the stress and the strain and the sense of disappointment. There are people who are listening to us today who have made mistakes in their lives. And if they don't have this mindset, it makes them feel miserable and guilty and frustrated, like they're not worthy human beings. But the truth be told, if you found a human being whom you would want to emulate because that person's life seems to be working out so well, and got close enough to that person, you would find that that person's life is characterized by a number of failures. Yes. It's just that they cherish the ones that work very well, and they live on those. So part of the way to deal with the curveball is to recognize they're curved, some are going to pass you, and you swing, and you come back and you swing with new energy after you've missed the last one.
But how do people deal with the reality that society teaches us to be so competitive? It's like if you fail at one thing, then it's like you're a complete failure, you know?
So repeat the question for me, please.
How do we deal with this, that our society is just so competitive, and the notion is that if you fail at one thing, it's almost like you're a complete failure. But you're saying to us, expect to have some failures, and that is okay.
That's right. That's right. And you know, sometimes we think it's society, but the truth be told, society is working just fine. The problem is with us. The problem is with how we see ourselves. The problem is the energy that we retain once we know that we have failed, or the energy that we lose. Certainly people are demanding of us, and that should be, because it pushes us. Right. We have to come to recognize that it's a part of the game to miss more balls than you hit, at least when you use the baseball metaphor. I know a part of our conversation has to do with transformation, but the transformation that we need typically is not more accuracy with the bat. It is the mindset, it's the way of thinking, it's the perspective that makes you comfortable and confident and calm and cool and collected, so that you can stand at the mound just totally poised and ready for whatever life throws at you. When you get into that operating space mentally and emotionally, a number of things happen. One, you hit more balls that way because you're not frantic, furious, and frustrated about the ones that you have missed. And two, you're enjoying the game more. The transformation that we need is only metaphorically related to the one I have in the book about if caterpillars can fly, so can I. Of course, that itself is a metaphor. It is, for the caterpillar, it is a physiological process of ecdysis, where the animal breaks open out of its cocoon and actually something comes out from its belly. Well, that's the way it works there. For us, the way it works is something inside our belly is emotional that holds us back. It's the dysfunctional emotions of rage and anger and disappointment. So I'm suggesting to you that it's not that you're going to be better at hitting the balls with the bat and practice a million more times. Certainly that's necessary. The conquest that we seek is to get to that place of poise, to recognize that it's okay. And long after we're dead, there are going to be some balls that we are not going to hit, we will not have hit, but we're going to be at peace with that because we're going to give it our best shot. And that is the reason why we focus so much on sort of emotional stability and mental development and a mindset of a winner.
The question then is, how do you develop that mindset? Where do you begin?
Right. So you begin by reaching outside of yourself. Certainly you need a certain amount of introspection and thinking, and that's critical. But if you think the way you thought yesterday, you're going to get what you got yesterday. And in order for you to think differently, you have to reach out to some other resources of people who think differently and get different results. What that suggests is a number of things. You have to begin to read different things. You have to begin to look for different videos on YouTube when you get there. Stop looking at the things that people send you that have to do with sensationalism and the boy who pushed a bus up the hill and the little girl who stands on her hands in the middle of the streets, whatever. Useless things, trivia that people send you, they are wasting your life. Go online and research for how you can understand your temperament, your personality, how you can develop greater capabilities, how you can control your own mind. Look for things that are personal development things. When you go to the bookstore, look for things under self-improvement, personal development. That's one sort of area where you can go to begin this transformation or continue it.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is to identify people who can be mentors and coaches for you, people whom you respect, so that you can emulate them, get their advice and guidance. You can't just make up your mind to think differently. Because you see, the reason I say that is because thinking is at the heart of it. It's the way we process information and the thoughts that we have that determine the actions we take, that determine the results that we get, that determine the recognition and the reward and satisfaction. So there's a whole cadence that begins with your thought process. Now, my favorite book is not If Caterpillars Can Fly, So Can I, even though I love that book. My favorite book is a book that says, as a man thinketh, as a person thinks in his or her heart, so is that person.
Yes.
Now, if that's true, the way you think, the what you think, the how you think manifests into the who you be. So the real kernel, the real source of everything in your life that you experience begins with the way you process, the way you think. And I'm saying to you, you can't just make up your mind to think differently, because that's tantamount to making up your mind to be a different person.
Right.
You can be a different person as you improve yourself, but you have to reach outside for new data, new information with which to percolate those thoughts and come to different conclusions.
And so it's a process. I think some people need to hear that it is a process. It's not a one-off action that you're going to try and do and completely change. It's
yes.
a process.
By the way, on that notion, I have something very encouraging.
Uh-huh.
My work is to travel around the world and work with large corporations, teaching executives leadership and how to enhance their performance and their results for themselves and for their companies. And there is a metaphor, there is an exercise that I do, not so much of an exercise, but an illustration, where I say, I know how you can change your life without killing yourself. And then when I say killing yourself, without doing dramatic things that disturb you. The way in which human beings change in a sustainable manner is different from what most of us think. So most of us get to the point where we think, my life's not working out, I'm not productive, I'm not doing what I need to do, so I really need to make a dramatic change, especially it's January. I need to start exercising, I need to be more punctual or whatever, and so we stop what we were doing and we turn a right angle, make a right angle turn and do something dramatically different because we think our lives are in such bad shape. Now, that's not how it works. Because when you make dramatic changes in your life, they're too traumatic and your brain does not want to stay there. So the brain eventually gets back to where it was before. That's why exercise machines and diet pills sell in the billions of dollars in January. And then by February, hot dogs and hamburgers are selling much more.
Yes, we just revert.
It's the reverse. Because we cannot just simply shift dramatically and expect it to be maintained. Here's how you change your life. It's so encouraging. I want you to imagine a horizontal line that starts where you are and goes off into the future. Like when you're on a graph, it goes left to right. Now, imagine that that's the nature of your life. You figured out how to get rid of the ups and downs and the boisterous things, and you have relative stability in your life. If you should choose to make your life go up instead of be flat, instead of flatlining, and choose to go at a 45-degree angle or a 90-degree angle, that would be wonderful. You'd feel really energized over the first few hours and first few days. However, it's way too dramatic, and eventually your mind is going to want to take you back to status quo. Here's what I want you to do instead. Imagine drawing a line that is only 1 degree higher than the horizontal line.
Okay.
It is so close to the line that when you begin, you can't even see that there's are two lines. They look like one laying on top of another. It's the same line. But as you continue to draw the line that is 1 degree higher than the one that you had originally, the horizontal one, and you extend that over time, imagine you're in a room now. Imagine that the line is going from one wall to another, through that wall, off into the future. What happens to those two lines as time goes by and you continue to draw the 1 degree separation? Can you see it, Keisha?
Yes, I can see they're shifting apart.
Can you see the divergence?
Yes.
Over time, even though it's a 1 degree difference, the points at which the differences between those lines continue to exaggerate. One continues to get farther and farther and farther away from the other. The horizontal line is laying flat. The one that is 1 degree keeps going up and going up and going up. So as time increases, after a while, you can't even tell that it was 1 degree because they're so dramatically different. Here's what that means. If you should find a desirable behavior that you want to emulate, one small thing, and do it every single day over and over and over, in such a way where it is not something dramatic that you have to put out immense effort to do, the compounded effect will definitely change your life. What am I saying to you? Let's take a practical example. Let's take exercise. I want to be fit. Don't talk about running 2 miles when you never ran 2 miles in your life, or you haven't done that for 10 years. Walk 5 blocks if you can. And decide that you're going to walk 5 blocks every day for this week, or 5 days a week, or 3 days, whatever the case may be. Maybe you start by saying, I'm going to walk 5 blocks 2 days a week. It's very small. It's very easy. And you do it every single time, wherever you commit. It's so easy that after a while, it becomes ridiculous. What's the point of doing this when I'm not even tired? I'm not ready to go back yet. So naturally, your body allows you to do 1 more degree.
Right.
Next thing you know, you're walking a half a mile. And then after a while, you're not tired anymore. Next thing you know, you're walking 3/4 of a mile. If you continue to do that, over time, when you look back, you cannot believe where you started and where you've come. This is how human beings change their lives. It is the consistency of it. It's not the dramatic turn that makes the difference. That's real transformation.
Wow. So we're talking about when life hits you a curveball, what do you do with that? And we have with us online, live from Florida, Alvin Day. He is the author of If Caterpillars Can Fly, So Can I. And it outlines the 7 universal laws to achieve and prosper. And what Alvin is basically saying to us is that, you know, for transformation to occur, it's not an overnight process. First of all, it has to begin in the way you think, and you have to transform your thinking. And that's not something you do on your own. You actually need to go outside of yourself. You need to look for, you know, new books to read. You need to also reach out to people who've gone ahead of where you are, mentors, somebody that you can emulate and have this kind of new information and influence inputted into your life. And then he's saying it's not the big massive changes that you make, it like your resolutions that you make at the beginning of the year, and you're going to completely reverse the way you used to live in one go. No, it's incremental changes that you're making diligently, consistently, time and time again. Did I capture it right, Alvin?
That's just right, about right. That is just about right.
So do you?
I'm aware.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I am aware, however, that there's some who are listening who are, in fact, facing dramatic developments in their lives. They wish they could come by slowly. They wish they could fix them slowly. There are some times when things happen that demand a response. And I think of one last story I'd like to share with you. How do you deal with the curveball? This is very near and dear to me. I found myself on a flight to New York one day, going to deliver a presentation, and I was not ready. I needed to spend some time on the flight fixing my PowerPoint slides. I didn't have much time. I'd get off the flight, go to the boardroom, deliver the presentation. And when I opened my computer on the plane, I could not see the screen. I could not see PowerPoint. The only thing that came up was the face of a loved one, a member of my family, somebody who had my blood in her. Yeah? This person was going through some incredible crisis, and it was hurting me so badly. I could not see what I wanted to do. Are you there still?
Yes, I'm here. We're hearing you.
Great. So I knew that I was in trouble because I could not focus. And there are times in our lives when the curveball hits the helmet, passes the helmet, hits the forehead, and you have to deal with the effect of it. And I thought, oh my gosh, what do I do? I cannot focus. I felt guilty working on business. But fortunately, I had been trained in something. And I was trained in a thing called compartmentalization. And here's what I did. I visualized a large filing cabinet in front of me. And on the top right corner, I mentally opened a drawer, and I took the face of this loved one and all the crises and troubles and turmoils. And I literally opened my hand and mentally put the whole deal in that top drawer and gently closed it and said, I'll be right back. And then I imagined the bottom left-hand corner far away, and I opened that drawer, took out the files with all my clients' issues and market challenges and so forth, and mentally put them on my computer. When I looked, I saw PowerPoint, and I started working. Well, immediately after that, the drawer on the top right popped out and said, what about me? Don't you care about me? Is business the only thing that you care about? Isn't my life more important than business? And I felt guilty, and I went, oh, man. But because I'd been trained, all I did was I said, it's okay. I'll be right back. And I closed the drawer again, and I started working. About 3 to 4 more times, that drawer popped out, demanded attention, and I said, it's okay. I'll be right back. And would you believe me, after a few minutes, I forgot that the drawer was there. And all I did was focus on my presentation. Get off the plane, go to the boardroom, deliver my presentation, get the results that I want, and then in my right mind, in my right time, I was able to go deal now more objectively with the crisis in my family.
Yes.
I tell you, it was a major crisis that hurt me to my bone, but I had figured out a way how to put it in a compartment so that I could be functional and deal with what I needed to deal with for my life at the moment. And when you go to work in the morning and you can't figure out how you're going to get the work done because the pain of other circumstances is so bad, there is a way in which you can make your mind separate them. When somebody slaps you in the morning and the dog bites you and you go to work and somebody says hello, you don't have to snap at that person because you have the power to make a distinction between one event and another. That is raw human power that we have to be taught how to do. So how do I learn this? I read books, I buy audios, I get mentors, I go to conferences. Otherwise, I don't know how to deal with those challenges.
So the personal development, investing in your own personal development is your starting point. Are you there?
Yeah, hello, say that again,
yes,
please.
I'm saying investing in your own personal development is your starting point. You cannot abort that or ignore that process.
That's right. That's right. I'm standing in my office right now, and behind me is a shelf that has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of dollars worth of investment in audios and videos and courses and so forth that have taught me things not taught in schools. Oh, I wish they taught us in school how to be successful, how to handle money, how to understand ourselves, how to relate to people. They don't. And so we think we're educated. There's so much more. There's so much more that we need to know in order to deal with the curveballs of life and still find great success.
We have to be lifelong learners.
Yeah.
That's key. This is tremendous. Do you have time can you spend a few more minutes with us? I know you have another engagement today.
Yes, definitely, Keisha. I will spend some more time with you.
Oh, we are so grateful. So at the moment, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come right back. We'll be going for a break for 2 minutes. Can you hang on?
Sounds great. Yeah,
Good,
sounds
thank
great.
you.
In a sea of people, it's easy to get lost amongst all the stories we have to tell. With this platform, a new voice is being heard, one that offers real insight to transform, educate, and inspire greatness, always building, nurturing, and evolving with the times. Our goal is to make a statement, to transform the world, and engage all of its citizens. Accepting multiculturalism is taking the first step and listening to each other, uniting towards positive change. It's not about any one race, religion, or culture, but about uplifting and empowering one another. Standing above segregation is our game. Our vision is to expand, to create and implement change, zeroing in on what matters the most. Banding together to preserve and celebrate our heritage, cultures, and community spirit. Become inspired by real people, your friends and family, and see that impact within our society. Be proud of the work we have done together. Community focused, we are the Toronto Caribbean Newspaper.
Welcome back to Living the Dream in Canada. I'm your host, Keisha Johnson, and we are talking today about curveballs in life that all of us encounter at different times. We also have online with us live from Florida, Mr. Alvin Day. He is an author, has written several books, and he's also executive business coach. He is the executive director of the Empowerment Institute. And there's so many individuals and organizations that Alvin has helped achieve many different goals in life. And so, we thought he'd be the best person to come and talk to us today. We have him live on phone. Alvin, are you there?
I'm here.
Awesome stuff. So, he was giving us some insight as to how do you begin this transformation process. And he says it first starts in your mind and the way you think, And so you have to change your mindset and take a different approach to how you've always done things in order to see change. And, the way to do that is to get books, get mentors, and to find one thing that you really want to accomplish and work at it diligently every day. Not the big excessive changes, but just small baby steps that you can take incrementally. Do it diligently every day, and over time you will amaze yourself at the results that you see. So, Alvin, where next do we go from there?
Well, we have to be cautious about being seduced to stay in what they call the comfort zone. It's not really that comfortable. One of the reasons why people don't get to their dreams is because the state of dissatisfaction is not that bad.
Mm-hmm. The pain doesn't hurt enough.
Be cautious. Yeah, say again?
The pain doesn't hurt enough.
The pain does not hurt enough. In other words, I complain every day about going down the same street, sucking up the carbon monoxide, going to the same job, not liking my boss, doing dumb, boring work, and I do it again on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday, and I repeat it the week after that. I tell myself I have to do that because I need to pay the bills. What kind of living is that, right?
You're trapped.
And so it's really bad, but it's not that bad. We can go see a movie from time to time, and we have people to talk to. This is the reason why most people live lives that are just desperate, because it's what Henry David Thoreau calls quiet desperation. There's this quotation that says, quote, most men, and I think he's talking about mankind there, most men lead lives of quiet desperation and go to the grave with the song still in them.
Sad.
Unquote. Where we go from there is to recognize if we are in that sequence, because next thing you know, 5 years have passed, 10 years have passed, and you look back now wondering what has happened to my life.
A lot of people are in that state.
Yeah. And the unfortunate thing is, while, Keisha, I know the work you do, you live in a world of excellence and greatness and continued pursuit of wonderful dreams and passions. And I used to make the assumption that everybody does it until I went to breakfast with a group about 2 months ago where somebody said to me, but I don't see myself that way. I mean, I'm not so sure that I have any high purpose that I was born for. Does everybody have to have that? Does everybody have that? Because I just see myself going through and doing my work every day, and I don't see myself being born for great things. And it shocked me into the realization that Henry David Thoreau is right. Not everybody is on the edge, bubbling, looking for the next great thing. Some people are just trying to get by. Yeah? And so where we go from here is, if people are listening to the station, they're already qualified as people who are interested in this area of transformation. Otherwise, they might have already changed the station. To be aware that there's a seduction of normalcy, of settling for the regular, the mediocre, the average, and it's okay because the alternative is going to take some effort. And what a sad state in which to live. Yeah? And so where I stand is part of my role is to agitate. Let me say it this way: if one of your listeners should go back and talk to a company and they should hire me to come in and do a workshop or a presentation, Keisha, my job would not be to go in and motivate them.
No.
I'm not a motivator. because motivators try to get people to feel good. My role would be to disturb the audience, disturb them, get them unsettled about the status quo and the regular and the ordinary, to sort of wake people up to the potential that they have inside that they're going to die and leave behind unless they do something about this transformation right away. It's a lot of fun because oftentimes people call me motivational. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm really about leadership, but in order to incite leadership in people, they have to be shaken and disturbed a little bit. So if you find yourself thinking that your status quo is not particularly good, but you've not been doing anything about it, you may need to put yourself under pressure. You may need to read some things and hear from some people who see more in you than you necessarily see in yourself for now, so that it'll agitate you and make you feel very uncomfortable with going along with the program that society offers. When you get to that place that is unsettling and is disturbing, then your mind is going to seek for peace, and peace comes when you start upward and know that you're not on that path anymore. It's a very distinctive mechanism that I found in the human mind, that leads them away from change or to maintain the status quo.
Amazing stuff. And, to get there, I mean, as you were saying, something has to stir within you. We talk about that fire in the belly, coming to that place of enough is enough. And nobody can force you to get to that place. It really is almost like an inner call, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. You could read and study and hear from people, but if your mind is not ready, it's not going to react. Now, there are things that can happen that will get your mind more ready. I'll tell you an experience that depressed me severely one day, and I'll tell it to you because it might relate to people who are listening as well. Keisha, one day I got severely clinically depressed. I'm not given to depression, but I was deeply, deeply disturbed and depressed. Fortunately, it lasted for only about 15 minutes. Okay? There's ways of getting out of it. Let's put it this way. I was clinically and desperately depressed for 15 minutes one day. I walked out into my front yard in West Palm Beach, Florida, and I saw a white stone lying in the garden. And for some reason, it came to me like the stone hit me in my head that long after I am dead and gone and rotten in the ground, that stone will still be around. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. That stone has no name, no reason, no purpose that I know about. It just lies there. And with a little erosion, maybe, the stone is going to be alive after I'm dead.
Yes.
What's the purpose of this life? I get up every day and I'm struggling and I'm going along with the program, and yet I am marching to my death, and things that don't seem to have the same kind of significance as I think I have, they're going to be here. And it made everything, I questioned everything about the purpose of life, the reason for life, and what is all this struggle all about. It was desperate thought that was in my mind.
And then what happened next?
Say it again?
What happened next?
What happened then was I had to make a choice. I had to make a choice. Either stop trying and getting up and struggling every day because it's not going to be worth anything anyway, or, and this is where I went, or do something in my short life that's going to live after me that will make this desperate game worthwhile. If I can do something today that will affect life later, I can be better than the stone that has no real sensible function, and that's not true. Stones have functions, but in terms of human development, I really need to live my life now with urgency to make a difference in the lives of people who themselves face the same fate that I do. And when I realized that, it put pressure on me not to just kind of go through life, because I'm not a rock.
Right.
I'm going to die. And so what I'm suggesting to you is that was a disturbing thought that was unsettling to me. And it says, man, if I have 5 years or 50 years more to live, I'd better live it in a way where it gives meaning anyway, because I've already put out a lot of effort. What's the point of just giving up now?
Absolutely. Yeah? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're saying to people, listen, you have got to realize that your life is more than just you living and living for yourself. I think that's a realization that we have to help a lot of people to come to. Recognize that life is much more than just going through the routine. What's the contribution that you're going to make? And I love that you've come to this point, because it's one of I think it's the 7th principle in the book. It talks about contribution, and that is you bringing the best of what you have and giving that to society and influences and impacting other people's lives.
That's right. That's exactly right, Keisha. I often say to people, and I say it very carefully, your talents and your natural gifts are not bragging points. They are a heavy responsibility to deliver to other people.
Wow. Those are
So if you have some talents and you just kind of go around, I'm the best at this and so forth, and you are self-absorbed and you think it's all about you, it's not. Your talent was given to you for others. I like to think pictures and metaphors. Think about the pipe that is laid under your lawn around your house that brings water from the city or someplace to your kitchen so that you can drink it. The pipe that brings the water never jumps up and down and says, look at me, I'm doing a great job. Why doesn't anybody pay attention to me? The pipe just lays there faithfully delivering water to the kitchen so that you can cook and drink and so forth.
Right.
Now, too many human beings, as conduits of benefits to the world, want the attention to themselves for people to recognize them, when in fact God and nature designed the system so that each of us is a vessel through which water of life can pass to others. And when we question the meaning of our lives, it's because we don't understand that our lives are supposed to deliver freshness and life to others. Don't jump up and down and look for credit. The truth of the matter is if the water were not passing through you to satisfy the needs of people in the kitchen, inside you would be dry and full of cobwebs and the roaches anyway. The water passes through you to others, and on its way through you, it cleans you up.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing,
Different perspective, isn't it?
it's an absolutely different perspective. And what I'm hearing you say, without vocalizing that, is that you have to know what is it that your gift is and your strength is that you have to offer to the world.
Absolutely. And be content with that and develop it and do it to the best of your ability and know that you're making a difference. It's not really about your getting praise. It's about your having a sense of satisfaction that because of your life, somebody else's life is working out well. There's nothing like knowing that you are affecting someone's life positively and the life of that person's children and generations to come. Do what you are blessed to do to the highest level of excellence, and make that satisfaction, make that fulfillment. And the praise will come, the recognition will come, and you take it humbly, but it's all about how we serve others. We have to develop ourselves, we have to grow, but we grow to the extent that we're able to give more back to the world. Now you can say, my life is working out.
Absolutely. And so for the person who is listening is saying, boy, I don't even know where to begin. I'm not, I like doing this thing and I enjoy this other thing, but I'm not sure what is it that I'm really gifted at. How do we help those persons to identify their strengths and their giftings?
Got it. You need, first of all, to do some sort of assessment or evaluation to identify your natural temperament and your gifts and your talents. Some children are good at geography and love the world. Some people love chemistry. Some love words. Some love music. And one of the greatest frustrations of education is that we put them all in the classroom and teach them the same things. So I strongly encourage each of the listeners to figure out what is it that you're good at doing. Now, certainly in the book, If Caterpillars Can Fly, So Can I, there are some tests that will help you to figure out your life purpose. You really need to get that. Go to Amazon.com, look for that book. But I want to make a greater suggestion to you. Keisha, am I correct in saying that you're a part of a business that helps people to determine their life purpose and their talents and gifts? Am I talking correctly here?
Yes, that's right.
I think the work that you're doing is phenomenal because we don't learn it in schools. We are force-fitting skills into people who were not designed for those skills. Each of us is unique. We have some mix of things at which we will be naturally good. It begins with figuring out who you are and what you were born to do. Once you begin to align with your natural talents, the way your chemistry, your DNA is formed, it brings you so much exhilaration, so much excitement that it's hard to imagine if you're currently in a state where you're just kind of going along with the program and living the best that you can. It begins with figuring out who you are, what you're good at doing, and then working to develop it, learning more, researching more, getting more technical competency, and starting to pursue the dream that will come with that. That's
Right.
the major beginning.
Yes. And then what's next?
So the rest of it now is literally a journey. The day you become clear on what it is that you are best at being, not just doing, and you establish your dreams and you recognize your dreams, everything that you do starts to line up with the dreams. Even if you're still at work doing the same old job, you do the job in the context of how the job can help you be better at realizing that dream. You need to be surrounding yourself with people who believe in you. For some of the folks listening, they have massive dreams that are so massive that they're scary. And it doesn't start with your telling people. You have to be careful whom you speak to about your dreams, because your dreams are typically so big that they don't seem practical at the start. If you tell them to people who don't believe in you, who are negative, who don't believe in themselves, they're going to create abortion in your dreams.
Yeah,
They're going
they
to
shut you down.
kill it stillbirth. Okay? So what you do is selectively you find people whom you respect, who believe in you, and tell them about what you want to do and to become, and ask their guidance and their input. There's a reason why nature hides the baby inside the belly for 9 months. Because until the baby is able to ward off the germ-infested hands, the baby must be protected. Keep your ideas to yourself and a few other people, like a woman goes only to her gynecologist and so forth. So you don't just go tell people that you're going to be great. They're going to look at you and go, yeah, who do you think you are? You don't want them to touch your baby yet. Find people who can help you. Begin to study, begin to research, and just step by step go after it. Don't be afraid. Just go after it. Small steps compounded over time will make a big difference. There is no exact 9-step process.
Right.
There is a start and there is a pathway, because the pathway you take to your dream is going to be different from the pathway others take.
Right.
But you have to know who you are, what you were born to do, and be committed to the small changes every day.
Well, that sounds like a winning formula, and in the nature of the work that you do, I am sure that you've seen it. Succeed, the success of it time and time again.
Absolutely. I think of Dr. George Zhang, who's a PhD executive at the Valvoline company. And his parents told him, you get into this company, don't rock the boat, just do what you need to do, you'll get promoted, you're a smart guy. I began to beat up on him with these concepts as I was coaching him. And I said, he told me one day about a problem, and I said, George, why does this problem exist? He said, well, because our suppliers and our quality control people are not doing this, that, and the other. And I said, George, wait a minute. You know the answer. You know how the problem starts. Why don't you take a step and go after it? So I gave him some encouragement to do that, and he went away, called the suppliers and the quality control people together, came back the next session and told me that he was saving the company $2 million per year just by doing the one simple thing. What am I saying to you? I'm saying that I've seen incredible responses with people breaking out of the box that binds their minds. One of the boxes is, I'm an IT technician. This is what I do. And then when something comes up that has to do with HR or operations, we get stuck because the job definition limits us. He told me that he had never thought this way before after having gone through If Caterpillars Can Fly, So Can I. He said, I was told not to rock the boat. You're telling me that I am responsible for the design and the operation of the boat. He said, my wife started telling me that she saw some changes in me and she liked them. My boss, last week before you came back in, was walking the halls with a piece of paper to promote me, give me a raise, and give me a department. And he said he likes what's happening to me. And he said, this is because I got into this If Caterpillars Can Fly thing where I never thought of myself that way. Keisha, the man is smart like you can't believe, with a PhD in something like chemistry. And yet he was stuck with his thinking limited by someone who told him, don't rock the boat, just do what they tell you.
I am so glad you've cited that example, because we're talking about somebody who's technically smart. But then the wisdom to know who you are, what you're good at, and to pursue that, that's totally different thing.
Yes. Yeah, I love education. I think we need to get more of our children into college and have them get to higher levels of education. But there's something about education that will just confuse you if you don't know the difference. Education, skills, technical competency does not guarantee you that you can pay your bills. They give you intrinsic value. They give you more on the inside. But unless you figure out how to generate economic value, you're going to be highly educated and broke. This is a deep frustration with some folks.
Yes.
But I'm smart, but I went to school, but I invested in me. Yeah, that's all good. Intrinsic value is fine. But what they don't teach you in school is how you can convert your intrinsic value to economic value. And I just did a whole course a while ago for a company where I talked about how, actually, I just also recorded this thing for a subscription that we're going to give to people for coaching and leadership. It's coming up very shortly, where I'm going to coach people all around the world on this. But how do you position yourself so that your intrinsic value, your skills, your smarts, and so forth can be productized, packaged, and promoted so that they become economic value. I reference a couple I know that has 7 university degrees between them, including 2 PhDs. They speak several languages, and one person has never gotten a B. No, actually, in all those degrees, one of the parties in this couple has only gotten 1 B in the entire college profession. The entire time at college, only 1 B, everything else an A. And today, they're having great difficulty between them paying their light bill and their phone bill.
Wow. How does that happen?
They're smart, they're wonderful, they're great to talk to, Keisha. But they have stopped at intrinsic value.
Wow.
What you want to know, you ask them, they'll tell you. But nobody's ever taught them how they can package it and promote it and make it a product so that people look at it and recognize it and want to pay money to get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's necessary in our lives, and we're not taught that by, sometimes our parents don't know, and schools certainly do not teach us that.
Well, I'm glad that you have a program who's going to be doing. How do people get in touch with you?
Yes, to get in touch with me, I'll give you a couple things. Email, info@alvinday.com. My name, ALV as in Victor, INDAY.com. So send me an email, but importantly, there's a way in which we can be in touch every week. I actually have a subscription. This one doesn't cost anything right now, so before we start charging for it, you may want to get in on this. It's called the Monday Morning Power Pack. The Monday Morning Power Pack is a 2 to 3 paragraph word of life strategy, wisdom, and inspiration sometimes that goes out to people around the world, just kind of starting out on a Monday morning, giving them something to think about to make it a great week. And in order to get that, they would go to www.alvinday.com.
That's your website.
And currently, on the bottom right side of that homepage, there's a spot to put in your name and the email. If you do that, it's going to send you an email right away that you have to click on. So there's a verification process. Once you click on it, every Monday morning you'll hear from me. If you don't, it means that your email system has put it in the spam folder. So you just go there, right-click, and tell the system that it's okay. And every Monday morning you'll get this 2-3 paragraph word of challenge and inspiration. And when you want to contact me, all you have to do then is just click reply.
Awesome. So that's www.alvinday.com. So go to the website and input your email, do the verification, and every Monday morning they will get that inspiration note from you to help them get started, set the week going right.
Right, that's correct. Now, Keisha, the other thought is I must give out a warning. You know, you've made reference to this book, If Caterpillars Can Fly, So Can I. I'm going to tell you something really weird. For your listeners, do not buy this book. Do not go to Amazon and buy this book if you are comfortable with where you are, because this book will disturb your belly. Oh. It's going to stir you up in a way. Am I telling the truth, Keisha?
You are, because you are the disturber indeed. But you know what? This is what I believe. When the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yeah. This book literally will shake you up and make you think differently, and the desire that you need to soar, you must soar. So, if you're comfortable, don't read this book. Don't read this book. It's going to change some things. So, that's my warning.
Oh, great. So we are talking to Alvin Day. He is the author of If Caterpillars Can Fly, So Can I, and quite a few other books too. We invite you to go to his website, www.alvinday.com, to see all of the various resources that he has available to help you in your personal life and in your professional life. Like he's saying, and he's really being very honest about this. If you are not ready for change, don't start with this material. I encourage you, buy it and set it aside until you're ready for it, because really, when you start getting into these materials, it is going to set you on fire. You will not be the same. Whatever you've been created and contribution you've been designed to make in this world, it's going to help you to unleash that in a fierceful way. And so I would say to you, go get the book on Amazon.com, If Caterpillars Can Fly. It talks about the 7 universal laws to achieve and prosper. And believe me, they are universal laws. Whether you believe them or not, they apply. They really do. We've seen transformation in our own personal life going through this book, and we've shared it with quite a few other people, and trust me, they've become unstoppable. So thank you, Mr. Day. I have a producer who is hand is in the air here in the studio, because she's like, yes, that's me. She, Nadine Miller. And so,
that's great.
So if you want to connect with him, there is a website. Get them on the Morning Purple. You know, they say, what do they say about Mondays? The most suicides happen on a Monday, because people don't want to go back to work. We talk about being stuck in the rut and in your comfort zone.
Yes, the research indicates that some large percentage, I don't remember, maybe 40% of suicides take place on Monday between the start of the morning and like lunchtime, which is really, really odd.
Yeah.
People contend after the weekend with the sort of stagnation of their lives, and they don't want to deal with it. Yeah. So, and they call it Blue Monday. I don't believe in Blue Mondays.
No.
I don't believe. I believe Monday is an exciting start to another journey this week, and this Monday Morning Power Pill sort of gets your mind engineered a little bit to recognize this and to go forward with inspiration and get past Blue Monday. It's not blue; it's beautiful.
It's absolute. Well said. So talking about changing your mindset, and this is one way to help you there. Alvin, thank you so very much for being available to share your wisdom with us. We're so grateful.
You are most welcome, Keisha.
Oh, okay.
And congratulations on all the work that you do helping people and children to figure out what their life is like. That your company that helps people find their life purpose is so critical. Everybody in the world needs to know that it exists. And if there's anybody online listening and everybody listening to the radio who's not sure why you were born, I'm going to do a reverse favor here of telling you need to talk with Keisha about how you can be part of her program to figure out your life purpose and the thing that's going to light you up from that point on.
And I credit that back to you because you helped me tremendously in identifying that in my own life. So thank you, Alvin. It's been amazing.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care.
Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
There you have it, folks. So this is Living the Dream in Canada. We talked today about when life throws you a curveball, what do you do? And a lot of times that curveball is really just to wake you up and to focus you on what you ought to be doing in life and making the most of what you were created to do. We had Alvin Day here online with us live from Florida. He is the CEO of the Transformational Leadership Institute. He's an author. He is an executive leadership coach, and he's worked with a number of organizations and individuals to help them to achieve and surpass their own goals and expectations. And so it was our absolute privilege to have him live online with us today to share with you some of the nuggets as to how you too can transform your life to fulfill your what you've been created to do in this earth, the greatness and the strength that you have inside of you to make a difference in the lives of others and to leave a lasting legacy. So we thank you so much for joining us. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go just yet. We have an announcement for you, and we are going to be right back.
All great leaders begin with a vision to start a movement, to make a real impact in society, communicating their message and aligning themselves with like-minded people to equip and inspire others to attain their vision. Creating a vital, healthy community is a group effort, and at the heart of it, you'll find local businesses and organizations fueled by committed people who are passionate about building a better tomorrow for us all. The Toronto Caribbean newspaper has started their own movement, promising to focus on the needs of the community, seeking out relationships with businesses and corporations that share in that same mission. We are legacy builders with one shot to make a difference, and together we can empower the community by adding value, instilling self-worth, and showcasing the cultural identity of our beautiful and ethnically diverse community. As business leaders, we have a corporate responsibility to set the tone of our community with principles led by performance-focused results. By combining our reach, we can provide a platform to establish and share our contributions with the world. We are all people working for companies that are interested in building a better community, helping people stand tall and be proud of their culture. If anybody has ever done it, then you can too. We are all capable, and working together, combining our skills and resources, we can make a change and leave behind an unforgettable legacy.
Welcome back to Living the Dream in Canada. I'm your host, Keisha Johnson, and we're just about to wrap up today's show that we talked about, when life throws you a curveball, what do you do? We had great information and directive from Alvin Day, author of the If Caterpillars Can Fly, So Can I. He's a leadership coach, executive leadership coach, and He is also the CEO of the Empowerment Institute in Florida. But he goes worldwide and he trains with executives in organizations and professionals to help them to be their best and to reach their goals and exceed them. And so we were very pleased to have him in studio with us today. But I also have an announcement for you. The book, If Caterpillars Can Fly, So Can I, you can get that on Amazon.com. We invite you to also check out his website, www.alvinday.com. If you are ready for transformation in your life, if if there's been something stirring inside in you and you're not where you want to be, and there's something great, some greatness that you have to bring, and it's just starting to it's just needing inside of you, we encourage you to get a copy of this book and start reading it, and get some friends and read it together. It's amazing what it will do for you. We also want to let you know that our guest last week, Jackie Porter, certified financial planner and owner of Cartwheel Management, she left us a couple of books that she wants to give away to you for free. So we're going to invite you to drop us a mail. You've got my email. It's Keisha at carib101.com. Or if you want to send us a message on Facebook and let us know that you are interested. Let me tell you who this is for, especially. If you are over 45, single by choice or chance, that's the name of the book, and you're living in Canada today and are examining the options for your future, this book is for you. The path you take depends on your preparedness from where you will live to how best to cope with aging parents and how you will address your own financial future. So this book will assist you in designing a plan that covers all of those things. So the name of the book is Single by Choice or Chance. And we want to thank Jackie Porter for making some of these available to you. So as I said, just hit me up on Facebook if you're interested in get one, and we'll send it over to you. It's the first 5 people to get in touch with us. It's theirs. Okay. Well, we've come to the end of today's show. We thank you so much for being with us. We love you. We appreciate you. We invite you to join us next week, same time, same place, right here on Carib 101 for another interesting episode when we connect you with living legends, game changers, trendsetters, and trailblazers in Canada and around the world. Until then, take care. I'm your host, Keisha Johnson.